Howdy, y'all. Good morning. This is Lee. So glad to have you back. Thank you for coming and checking my channel out. If you're the first time listener, viewer, watcher, whatever you want to call it. If you hadn't, let me go ahead and get business out of the way first. Please like my YouTube video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts on this video. Truly would. Liking and subscribing is supposed to do something for the algorithm or something. Like I've said before, I don't understand what all that means or how it works, but I'd like my channel to grow. So if y'all would, please like my video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So today's video is fairly easy. I'm going to be reading out of Galatians 5:22. It's the fruit of the Spirit. Now, I got a question for you. Have you ever been walking down through an orchard somewhere, maybe at J. Moore Farms or something like that? Little shout out to J. Moore. If you've never been there, go check it out. It's up above Gainesville on 365. But have you ever been walking through an orchard like at J. Moore and saw an apple tree eating an apple? No, you haven't. Because apple trees don't eat apples. What do apple trees eat? Apple trees eat fertilizer, nutrients from the ground, water. That's all that they intake. They don't intake apples. That would just be weird. Why would an apple eat itself? That's kind of stupid. But yet, I don't know about you, maybe you're smarter than I am, but so many times I have looked at my fruits that God has given me and the spiritual gifts that God's given me, and I've gotten aggravated because I don't feel like they're, sounds bad, but let's be honest, I guarantee you, y'all have done the same thing I've done. You don't feel like you're being blessed by your fruits. But your fruits are not for you. My fruits are for somebody else. If somebody's walking through the orchard, they pick an apple, it's for them to eat it, not me. So when God tells us that we're supposed to produce fruit, when Jesus said you will know them by their fruit, when the Bible talks about fruit, it's not fruit that benefits us. It's fruit that benefits somebody else. That's crazy to think about. All this time, maybe I'm just a dimwit and am the only one that realizes this. But how God has blessed you and the gifts He's blessed you is not for you. It's for somebody else. It's for how God's going to use it to touch somebody else. So, for example, let's look at Galatians 5:22. And it says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Those things are for somebody else. Those things are for God to use to bless another person. When you show somebody else love, you give out love to somebody else, it's a blessing to them. It lets them see God moving in you, through you, to them. When the joy of the Lord that's inside of you, that's not for you to hoard and to take and to keep. It's for you to give that joy to somebody else. And so on down the line, the peace that God gives you, the peace that passes all understanding, is for you to pass on to somebody else. The patience, the kindness, the goodness, the faithfulness, the gentleness, that self-control that I struggle with. You look at my fat butt and see I struggle with self-control. But the self-control here is also talking about those times where you're mad and you want to lash out to somebody, because anybody who knows me, who's one of my friends, knows that I got a problem, and if somebody makes me mad, I'll probably say some words that's going to cut them deep. So those are the kinds of things that self-control is talking about. Showing self-control when it comes to speaking your mind and cutting those words that makes them bleed. All of those fruit of the Spirit are for you to give to somebody else. If you don't give them to somebody else, let's look back at the apple analogy, or even strawberries on a vine, or anything like that. If the fruit of that tree or that vine stays on that tree or that vine, if it don't release it and it fall off to the ground, if it stays on that vine like a strawberry, it will rot on the vine. That's not a good thing, because when it rots on the vine, it starts to grow fungus, and those fungus spores will spread to the limb that it's growing on. And eventually, if it's not taken care of at that moment, the tree will die. So let's look at it from our own spiritual perspective. If we hoard the fruit of the Spirit and the gifts that God's given us, the blessings and the gifts and the fruit that God's given us, if we don't share those with other people, they will start to rot in our own lives. They will start to grow fungus, and it'll spread to our spiritual limbs. And before you know it, we've got to be pruned. The Bible speaks of that in I can't remember the passage, but it speaks of that. It says that sometimes we've got to be pruned. Well, why do we got to be pruned? Maybe there's sin in our lives. Maybe that fruit that's growing on us, we didn't share with somebody else, and it's grown a fungus, and it's now affected that limb that could kill the tree. So when you think about what you're doing with what God's put inside of you, with the gifts that He's given you, with that fruit of the Spirit that is inside of you, are you giving it to other people? Are you sharing it? Or are you hoarding it for yourself? Because if you're hoarding it for yourself, it does you no good. Because an apple tree can't eat apples for nourishment. They take nourishment from the ground and from the water and from the fertilizer that's given to it. Well, for us, it's the same thing. When we study God's Word, that is the bread of life that we need for food. It is the water of life. If you drink of this water, you'll never thirst again. You remember that? That is what gives us nourishment, not our own fruit. So share your fruit today. I hope it was a good reminder to you, just like it was to me this morning when I was doing my quiet time, that we need to share the fruit that God's given us, to give it away, because if we don't give it away, we can't produce more fruit. Simple as that. And that's true. Anytime you see a tree that's done got infected with the spores, it quits producing fruit. The buds will die. The limbs will die. The tree will die. So maybe it's time for us to give our fruit away. Woo. I'd actually preach, y'all. Hey, listen, I hope you're having a good day. And if you're not, just know that I'm praying for you. Every morning when I do my quiet time, I'm praying for whoever watches these videos. I'm praying that God moves in you, touches you, uses you today to bless somebody else. I hope when this video finds you, it finds you in God's graces. If you don't know Him, you can. Reach out to me and I can share with you how you can. I hope you have a blessed day. Thanks.